All right, kids, buckle up, shut up, and sit down. We're back for showtime. Yay! My goodness. And you're going to hear me sniffle. You're going to hear me sniffle a lot. A lot. Marmalade?
Making the mother of all omelets here, Jack. Can't spread over every egg.
Did you miss me, chat? Did you miss me? That was a lot easier than the sword. Well, I mean, I don't know who else I can give it to. I mean, Carrie's also technically a candidate for it. Returns, I am back. I am back. I still have the sniffles and I still occasionally cough. So if you hear me like in the distance, just for some. There's the real one. Oh, Jesus. A fake cough triggered the real thing. Jesus. Ow. Yeah, there can only be one lead mod. But it's also Carrie's working out. Desecration Demon, how are you doing? It's the Yapnator back for more Yap? Correct. Correct. Chat. What the fuck happens in the week I've been gone? In the week I've been sick? Do we need to talk about it? Do we need to talk about current news? And the new age of imperialism and the fall of the rule of law? Some year, ain't it? 2026. Certainly something. Let's yap. I'm down for yapping. Now it's gonna return my sword. Listen, that sword was never a sense of responsibility to you, so I don't think there's a reason to give it back. There can. News I did not know, but suspected barely. I mean, we could talk about the bombings in Nigeria. We could talk about the poor piracy of the U.S. Navy. Until apparently the shipping container ship basically drew or painted the Russian flag on its side, and then they gave up. Ordained sword win a year and a half ago. What is this song? Oh, I know this song. Thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so. Anyway, what the fuck you mean bombing? Huh? Oh, no, I was not talking about in chat. I was talking about current news. Yeah, apparently, the Schwartz, my Schwartz is bigger than yours. Anyway, Amy, I know it's Schwartz. I know it's Schwartz before any of you nerds say something. But no, I believe this was the week of, it was Christmas Day, wasn't it? Wasn't it Christmas Day? I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was Christmas Day, and the U.S. dropped bombs on like a rural village in Nigeria, claiming that ISIS was there, even though Nigeria said that there is no evidence or hints that ISIS is anywhere in Nigeria. Hey, chat, do you want speculative news? And of course, we have Venezuela. Okay, do y'all want my take on Venezuela? Yes, ISIS. What year is it? 2012? Everywhere according to the current administration? Correct. But do you want my opinion on the overnight extradition of that Delta Force kidnapped a foreign leader and brought them to New York City? Hi, Ordain. Bye, Ordain. What's your take? I am not siding with Maduro in a general sense of the word. Was he bad for the people of Venezuela? Sure. Sure. Did the US have any rights to do what it did? Fuck no. Hey, listen, at least it wasn't SEAL Team 6. I saw so many memes.
What's your fear?
The lore. I saw so many memes of people being like Maduro whenever he realized it was Delta Force and not SEAL Team 6. And it was just Kaya.
Step into the macabre halls of the Dark Carnival.
Oh,
And
God.
Please enjoy the show.
Why did it pitch up like that? Kaya, how was your stream? Dawn of the last TM stream. The last stream? You mean the last one had the best take on Venezuela? I don't know why I read it as Venezuela. It's kind of fun to say that way. Delta Devger, welcome in, Raiders. How are you doing? I've been sick the past week, and then before that was holidays, so we're doing a lot of catch up. Especially because I lost like half of our subs. We went from like 120 something over the past week to less than 70. But welcome in. How are y'all doing? How was your stream? An hour or two away from finally escaping the randomized. My brain can't stream anymore today. No! know. I had you open at the beginning before I left to go to the gym. So I was like, wow. I came back and I was like, wow, Kaya's going a really long time today. And it's not one of those 24-hour streams. Give them back. It happens. It happens. Listen, I need my fix too. I need to be here. Otherwise I fall apart at the seams. Shit happens. Shit happens. But, oh, where was I going with this? Oh, right. The United States had absolutely no fucking right, claim, or reason to invade a foreign country, kidnap their leader, regardless of what that leader is doing currently, and then just absconding away, claiming he's a criminal, even though, God, I wish I was joking. Almost every single fucking head of state that has said something on, not head of state, a federal head of some group has basically given a different reason, and Trump is the only one that has basically fucking like tore his own skin off and showed the bare naked bottom. Head of plate, kind of. Oh, correct, Ortain. Absolutely. The thing is, though, Trump blatantly said, it's crazy too. They're not even trying to pull some it's for freedom type shit. Although I think Pete Hegseth was trying to do that. But Trump straight up said it's for oil. He wants to get the Venezuela's oil reserves. And it's just so blatant. Did what he did, though? Why? Why? What stops him in the future now from claiming any other head of state is a dictator / against democracy and freedom, and then just not even Shanghaiing is the right word, but I'm going to go with Shanghaiing. Oh, it's not even just him. It's him. All the oil companies are going to suck it dry. It's literally the same as Iran and Iraq. It's literally the same. Huh? That is not even close to true, Jackets. That is not even close to true. He's not, you say he's not, but he's literally doing the same thing to Nigeria. Do you want to know the speculative reason, I think? Is because he wants a foothold in Africa. The African Union is currently trying to essentially group all of the countries together to essentially make Africa a better continent as a whole. And the US does not want them essentially socializing their resources. Wait, was that the thing that was caught by Automod? It didn't even give me an option to accept it or deny it. That was weird. Twitch, are you okay? If you opinionated to call Trump a criminal, usually people say that to shame politicians. He's literally a convicted felon. Literally a convicted felon. Yeah, I question the morals. It's not if what he did was morally correct to abscond with a dictator, or, well, the US has absconded with dictators. In the case of dictators they've placed before, it's the Batista movement in Cuba. Not surprising. You're taking my desk. Well, it's still down there. Just, I don't think there's a reason. Also, I'm really close. I could step back a little bit. There was no cell, Jackets. There's no evidence that ISIS was in Nigeria, period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he hit and killed no one. There was no one there. No, they're not. Because the videos they're showing of Venezuelans cheering are Florida Venezuelans who escaped years ago, if not decades ago. Venezuelans who went to Chile. Yes, I am sure, Jackets. I am 100% sure, because I don't use CNN or Fox News as the source for what I hear. I think so too. Hey, Sunstar, you want to put that hammer to use? Just please stay safe. I'm fine. Also, that is Kiwi Haru Urawa forever. That's so cute. That's so cute. Sunstar, do the thing. Spanish risen the day. Yasun Mapa. Do you have a map? Because I got lost in your eyes. Hell yeah. News reports mostly that Venezuelans in the country itself are nervous as fuck and are stockpiling food due to the likelihood of extreme instability going forward. I think the funniest thing too is the, what's her name? Hold on. Sorry, I just sniffled right into y'all's ears. What was the lady's name that won the Nobel Peace Prize? Nobel Peace Prize. Maria Corina Machado. That's it. The lady who was apparently the head of the Venezuelan opposition group. It's not really a political party, kind of. It's more like a group. And for decades, she's been wanting to be the U.S. imperialism pick-me of literally straight up saying that she wanted to take control and offer up Venezuela's resources to United States oil companies. And then she got overlooked. Even in this hostile takeover and instillment of a puppet government, the US isn't even considering her. It's those tokens get spent eventually, bitch. Lady Power Ranger hacker that yes. The thing was, I forget, did she make the dating website for the sole purpose of finding those people and then making a database out of them? Or was it a thing and she hacked into it and then deleted it? I don't remember which it was, but I did see the thing where she went to, like, it's not a hackathon, it was like a hackers convention or something, and to hide her identity she dressed up as the Pink Power Ranger and deleted it live on stage. I'm trying to remember the name of the website though, where the database is. Something stupid.lol. I can't remember for sure. I don't want to be in the US currently. Agreed. Hold on a second. I got a sniffle, so I'm going to mute. All right. Even if she was friendly to America, the generals who probably helped this happen weren't willing to work with her, which is why she was overlooked. Again, running theory. Don't know how much evidence, if any, to back it. The thing is, there's also speculation that the vice president, who's now technically in charge in the country, may have been they're still trying to figure it out right now. It's still developing if she's going to flip over to the US's side and may have been an insider, like, not the whole time, but at some point was just probably bribed off like a lot of other political leaders have been in US coups. It's so embarrassing. It's always been embarrassing. If you've known the history of America, it's always been embarrassing. Did you get your extract? I know you need it for Gara. I did not because I have not gotten enough up. I'm thinking like two levels away from getting more Nictane extract. But it'll be fine. Think of it self-care. The self-care is brought to you by GamerSubs. Use code Dark Carnival for 10% off. I'm pretty sure they're also having a bunch of specials right now. Hi, Tuka. Hi, Jerry. Wait, why did it catch that? Why did it catch that? I don't understand. I was just tradable. I figured they weren't tradable. I don't think anything in the, maybe mods? Maybe the mods that are for sale by the, like, Nightwave currency are tradable. But I don't know anything other than that. Me and my mother both tested positive for COVID. Oh, shit. Self-deportation ad because I speak Spanish as a second language. But both sides of my family have been here for hundreds of years. My family side is Ojibwe. If you get, like, granted, where the actual fuck am I supposed to self-deport to? That's the thing is they don't care. The government legitimately does not care where you go as long as the direction is out. I have seen some doomers speculate that the idea not more than likely, this is just worst case scenario and heinous like doomerism. I've seen some people be like, what if they pull a Poland's 1940s in Venezuela? It's like, okay, well, that's just too monstrously evil and unlikely. Right? I mean, CCOT, but they already got CCOT for that? No? Well, I mean, they're not. CCOT isn't even like a labor prison. It's not a labor prison and it's not an extermination prison of any kind. It's basically just go in and sit and life sucks. Wait, is the Fiemsh is open? Temporary chatbot outage. I think that's still the same thing. Let me see. Oh, it's not working. Why aren't you working? Connect to Twitch. Okay, speaking of which, we also need to check the leaderboard. So don't go fishing anything right now. It's Beef and Sunstar. Well, technically it's Sunstar into Beef. And then Speedstar. Holy shit, Speedstar. Damn. All right, let's go do a reset for the month. God damn it, Beef. I haven't reset it yet. Pull a Poland with who? America's the only contender in the Western Hemisphere. I'm talking about what Germany did to Poland in the 40s. And the US doing the same thing to Venezuela. I'd say we're bringing back colonial imperialism, but it never really went away. We've constantly had imperialism as long as the US has essentially had military bases all over the world. Okay, the scoreboard is reset, so now is your chance, chat. Apparently, this seems to be the case. And I've said the thing before where it really seems like, I'm going to zoom in on this. Corporations really are acting like they're really, really mad at us for having to go through us to get to our money. Like, they're really upset about it. A lot of people have the spicy metal bombs. These countries don't. Nigeria doesn't. Venezuela doesn't. The only thing that probably stops the US from invading other countries is the threat of nuclear bombs. I will win this month. I swear it. I mean, you can fish every minute. You can fish every minute. Wait, can't you just give us your money? That's pretty much what it is. What was the thing? It was like, I think it was in 2024 when like was it the World Bank? I think it was the World Bank that basically a executive of the World Bank. Hi Pipfin. I still have the sniffles and I'll occasionally cough, so that's just a warning. But yeah, they're a deterrent, but not from countries that don't have them. Almost no other country is going to spend their nuclear bombs on another country. The thing is, nobody wants to use them. Nobody wants to use them. Mainly because the second you do, and if you survive using them, your country survives whatever war or situation you use them in, you're basically an enemy of the world. We've seen the horrors that they cause in World War II. People have seen the test where there was generally no deaths unless you count fallout and downwind and health conditions. But the thing is, nobody has used them essentially since their inception unless it's on test. Dibs? Oh my God. Yeah, the US is not going to invade a country with nukes. Correct. Which is also why the fear that a country that doesn't have nukes will make nukes. Does it make you an enemy of the carnival? No. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Over a dozen C-17 Globemasters heavy lift planes we're doing in England? Ooh. I don't think I heard about that. I heard about something else. Oh, it was US planes crossing into Iran, like, I think it was yesterday. And Khomeini's saying that if his own military couldn't keep him protected, he was going to flee to Moscow, which is very funny. Got it? Good to know? Yes, correct. Pocket dimension, baby. Pocket dimension. Nice try, Beef. Scared the fuck out of me. It's not a missile. It's a torpedo. Many times strong. Stronger than the Tsar Bomba? All to defend against that aside from early interception. Well, yeah, once it detonates, it's basically head to higher ground. Wasn't that a canceled Cold War weapons project? I wouldn't doubt it. I think there was also something about an
Step
earthquake
aside.
bomb during the Cold War. Evil Turtle, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? I wouldn't doubt if Laserpigs talked about it. I did enjoy all of the Anna Marquis videos though over the Christmas break. I got 2 Anna Marquis videos in like a week. It was great. There was a lot of extremely unusual
Look at you.
Cold War weapons. Hold on a second. I'm going to go ahead and get Warframe open, but we're probably not going to swap to it just yet. Load, damn you. Load. Hi, microphone. How are you doing? Welcome in. Oh, true. We also got LP videos. Actually, was it LP? No, I'm pretty sure I watched 2 Anna Marquis. I know I watched 1 LP video. I don't think I watched LP's second video. Maybe I did. Oh, hi, Coco. Where did you come from? What are you doing, baby? Hi. Stinky baby. Pat, 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 pat. She just popped on the floor and I can't reach her. Oh my god, you goofball. You're pathetic. What's Coco doing? Laying on the floor. Laying on the floor. We had 2 on the Trump class battleship thing. Yes. One was like 10 minutes? 10 minutes, I think. And then I think someone else did like a 50-minute one on a stealth mission. She sneaked up behind me and I snuck up behind me. There we go. There we go. That was easier, question mark. All right. What the hell? Ooh. Oh, all awesome. Or, oh, history of everything, isn't it? I can't to the assassination mission on Deimos. Assassination mission on Deimos. I don't remember which one that is. Are impractical since we have weapon systems precise enough to hit a toilet on the other side of the planet? I mean, we do have precision nuclear warheads. Got Kono in on the battleship video? I mean, yeah. I thought it was funny. I was like, is that fucking Kono? Hold on a second. Are you thinking of is it the Rogue Void Rigs? Is that the one you're thinking of? Good fucking lord. Okay, let me see. Yes, but can they hit D's nuts from the other side of the planet? Yes, they can. Hitting within 25 miles, but it's nuke, so it doesn't matter. Also, yes. OG Betty Boop in the first Nancy Drew novel. Oh, wait, that's sick. Oh god, please don't. Wait, aren't they fuck. They're making a Betty Boop horror movie, aren't they? They're making a Betty Boop horror movie, aren't they? Z-Lord Prelate assassination mission does not ring a bell to me. Turned a sword to shred people through most things. We turned a missile into a sword. Are you thinking of tungsten tank rounds or sabo rounds or whatever they are? On Blue Sky, amazing. Yeah, they did the same thing with like Popeye. They did the same thing with Mickey Mouse. What are some of the other ones recently? Winnie the Pooh? Sexy horror movie at the very... I want to say it was like Eldritch or something. But I can't remember for sure. Genuinely can't remember. Hold on. What the hell? Oh. Hold on a second. Okay. So my earlier message, the Hitchhiker's Guide one or the highlighted one? Or was there a different one? Let me see. Oh, no, an ultimate question? 42. Are you turning 42? Is that the joke? Is that the joke? I feel like that's the joke. I must climb the ranks? Which ranks? Are you talking about the fishing ranks? It's usually Old Clock, I think. I love the Hardy Boys Nancy Drew books as a kid. I had a lot of Hardy Boys books. We had a few Nancy Drews too. I miss them. I'm pretty sure we got rid of them a long time ago. Or, well, maybe not a long time ago, but a decent time ago. Oh. I'm old. All right. Is there anything else on current events that we should or need to talk about? These boys sure are hard. Shut up. That is not what the Hardy. I have a question. I have an answer. Hag maxing. I mean, I do. I hit official hag age. I finally. Hold on. I think Coco wants to get out. Give me just a second. What did you think of 1999? I want more. More. But give me just a second. Okay. Sorry, I had to let Coco out. How many bits for more fishes? You get another, I believe it's... Actually, let me check. If you send bits, I know you get like a whole bunch of slots at once, but I don't remember what my settings were for it. Bits to play, minimum 50. Not for exact amount. Maximum multiple cast is 25. Okay, so the minimum is 50. So if you did times 20, that'd be 1,000 bits. And then another 250. So 1,250, I think, is the maximum bits. I could raise that. Do we want to raise? Let's raise this to 50. Just, oh, it didn't change it. Why didn't it change it? Wait, can I only max it at 25? Can change it to 30? Huh. No, I can't. It always resets to 25. Alrighty then. Hi, Hectic. How are you doing?
From the beauty up front.
Can I check? 11 fishers in line, but I can't check the roster. So I think it worked. Communism was a red herring. What you mean by that? It was a Clue joke. Is that really in Clue? Wait, oh, is that from the movie Clue? I need to see the movie. I have not seen the original Clue movie. Cluedo. Speaking of movies. Hey, Todd, do we want to watch Pacific Rim tonight? Most endings have that joke near the ends. Ooh. Huh. It's always the red herring, except it's always Colonel Mustard with the candlestick in the dining room every single time. Unrelated to anything, but I found out the Mataoka Pocahontas directors include Edward Norton. Ew. Oh, I hate knowing that. I might be asleep. It's probably going to be a couple hours after stream. Baird gets money. I get to lose. The win-win. Sunstar will lose for the first time since we implemented the fishing game. Crazy. Chat, do we want to swing over to Warframe already? So that we can get to the story? Or do we want to yap a little bit longer? We framing? We framing? Yeah, the category is still Warframe, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we get to finally do the crash out chapter. No, I want to hear you talk about your dream for 45 minutes. Which dream? The weird insectoids necro race? Where I drowned the crown prince in a vat of Chinese food? Because for some reason this weird planet had a Chinese restaurant in it. I swear I've mentioned that dream before. Yes, in extreme detail. Oh no. Oh no. Which assassination mission, and the target is called Zelord Prelate. The bastard of a mission? Huh. Who are you dating? I haven't started dating anyone.
At you.
I mean, we haven't had the regular yap time since we've had Warframe. We've only had like the two days and 2 weeks. Hi,
What's your
Pomzo.
pleasure? What's your fear?
That's a hype dream. Queens. Too long? Oh no. A year? A year of subbing? Thank you. Thank you for the year. The dream in question. I should drown the crown prince. I randomly tried to think of the Chinese soup and my brain just went blank. It was like egg drop. Fuck it. We drowned the prince in egg drop soup. The thing was, he sounded like he basically looked like an ugly ass roly-poly, but was like the size of a small dog. And he spoke like Edward Cullen. I still think of that dream. I do not know why, but that dream has stuck with me since I've had it for like 2 years. Not to mention, I can basically picture the planet still to this day. Deep sea isopods? Not quite. Well, actually, yeah, kind of deep sea isopods are a good example. Oddly specific. Yeah. Don't ask me why there was a Chinese restaurant there, though. It's Mr. Wong's. That's what it was. It was Mr. Wong's from our mage campaign. Hadn't had winter melon soup. You were missing out. Wait, did I say other planet? It was technically like, what's the word? Like humanity was enslaved to like this necromancer like insectoid race. And for some reason I was like the crown prince's babysitter or some shit. Or more like nanny. I was more like nanny. Burger right now and it smells so fucking good. Burgoo? What is burgoo? Burger that is goo? They all have different names.
Step inside.
A bunch of monsters. I would not say these were hot because they were more like, I would say just picture giant green cockroaches is what like the adults kind of look like. Dark Fridge, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. How are you doing? Let me take another drink real quick. Oh yeah, Happy New Year, chat. How are you doing? Well, I know how most of our New Year's are going, but that's besides the point. Hold on. God, I feel gross. Burgoo is the hunter's soup from the Appalachian, Kentucky area nowadays. Oh, I thought you were saying burger, but it was goo. Take a bunch of leftover meat from the freezer and make soup out of it? That sounds like a decent idea. In the words of that canceled South African bands. Oh, I love my ugly boys. Christ. 5 days of the new year and the threat of World War III is ever present. Correct. Not to mention that they pulled off the Venezuela thing the same day that the Trump administration was supposed to tell everyone why they redacted so much shit in the Epstein files. Anyway, our president killed a baby in Lake Michigan. I got a MetaQuest 3S. Ooh. decent workout from it. Have you been playing Beat Saber? Thank you for self-care. I actually use water for the self-care. The thing was, is apparently they redacted it wrong. They redacted it wrong so people could still get text out of it. You could still get the text out from behind the redacted boxes. God, this administration is so fucking incompetent, dude. Didn't he just watch? He demanded to watch. That was the thing. He demanded to watch to make sure that the baby was dead. Arkham Shadows, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Blade and Sorcery. It's super hot. Super hot. And Adobe sub was too expensive, so they just highlighted everything in black. Fucking stupid. Use the highlighter to scribble out content and images? Christ. Fucking mob boss behavior. This is exactly what it was. Because he is. He's the world's worst mob boss. He couldn't even get away with tax fraud. Oh, there goes the hype train. Hold on, I got a cough. Okay. Once and when I can do that, he's looked up to Al Capone ever since and failed at every attempt. Yeah, you haven't heard the thing about Lake Michigan? One of the we're gonna go with victims. One of the victims apparently had a baby. And when they disposed of the baby in Lake Michigan by throwing it off a boat, Trump was apparently demanded to be there while the girl's uncle and Trump threw the baby off a boat. So that baby will never be found. That's at the bottom of Lake Michigan. Oh, that's murder. The baby wasn't dead already. That's not desecration of a corpse. That's murder. No. It was, yeah, I hadn't heard of the dead baby. It was not a corpse when it went in the water. It was not a corpse. No, a cold-blooded president would be like Teddy Roosevelt. This is a brain-dead president who thinks he's some sort of badass. Carnivorous invasive species that pop up. So the evidence is definitely gone. Correct. Correct. Hi, Windbreaker. How are you doing? All right, let's at least have Warframe in the back if we're just going to keep yapping. I'm not going to reposition myself. We're just going to have this in the background. Hi, chat. Hi, chat. Do you like my Zaku, chat? I think it's very cool. Anyway. Eyes. Hi, chat. We can go closer. You want a good look at the eyes? Anywho's it's. Good lord. Poke him like bubble wrap. Look with your special eyes. My brand. Show the full tongue. Are you happy? You like it? What that tongue do though? What that tongue do? Do you want to find out? Okay, and I'm gonna assume nobody like that. Anyway. There it is. That's what good mac and cheese sounds like. On on the list of ice cream cone speedrunners, I'm like third. I'm like third globally. So you can see your food when you chew it? No, that's just for intimidation displays. Thank you for that thing. Next rebrand will have no mouth. No, next rebrand will have no tits. Earth Defense Force 6. Ooh. Listen. Wait, that's such a good thumbs up emote. That's crazy. I like that. I like that thumbs up emote. That's great. Imagine eating Captain Crunch with eyes on your tongue. I mean, the tongue changes. It's not always like that. Anyway. Anyone else make the full assumption this would be a better year? Yes. Correct. I have, in fact, made the fullest assumption that this was going to be the year. It's okay, though. We still got a lot of the year left. We started at the bottom, chat. We started at the bottom. There's no telling how much happened last year could all just be several times better this year. Oh, we didn't even make it 3 days. I mean, we bombed a foreign country on Christmas. On Christmas. We are the worst. Who's we? You speak in French? America's the worst. When you're closer to the stream, hi. It's only 1.3% done. He could still have a stroke or something. I keep seeing people too making the goofy, doing like dancing to what is, I think it's like CNN reporter announcing like Trump's health problems. And I've seen people literally just like throwing it back like it's the greatest fucking club music of all time. And it's so fucking funny to me. I have the rest of the year left. Oh yes, the rest of the year for more problems. I mean, yeah, but it could also start getting, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. But it could be a step in the right direction. Oh, I did see that. Yeah. I think you posted pictures of it, or a picture of it. Have they figured out if it was arson or accident yet?
What's your
Hi, Kona.
pleasure? What's your fear?
Is this a remix version of Fat Bottom Girls? Good song. Good song. Hi, Kono. How are you doing? Thank you for doing your season pass. It'll get worse before it gets better. Correct. What's your plunger? What's your year? Huh? Huh? What does that mean? What does that mean? You hit rock bottom, it can only go up from here. Stop digging! Reread? Oh shit. Oh, it'll get worse before it gets worse. Yeah. Yeah. I did misread that. That's what your subscribe sound says for... No, what's your pleasure? What's your pleasure? And my shovel, I'm going in. It'll get worse before it gets better. Well, you're halfway there. The Kriegsman mentality. Oh, good lord. Push-ups, please. All right, hold on. Let's do these push-ups. Core of the Earth was the lowest we could go. Turns out America can go deeper. Wait, didn't Soviet Russia, wasn't the USSR the country that's dug the deepest hole? The something superbore? Feliz año. They do anus. Wait, what? Año and ano. Okay. Start acting like soft plastic. Yep. And I do remember people always trying to make some heinous, like, bullshit mythology over it that they, like, dug into hell. Which I am, like, 99% sure that was just some evangelical bullshit to try and scare people away from the USSR even more. See, that country dug into hell, so now they're cursed. He's just mad if we poked a hole in his roof. Don't break your back? What does that mean? So hold on, let me do these 10 push-ups real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. A cryptid crawling out the hole they dug? I think I've seen that one too. But no, I remember people pulling some shit that's like, and we put this microphone down the borehole, and they heard screams and yells of pain. And that's why they covered the cap and left and tore down the structure, even though that was not even close to true. It's not quite like entirely fictional like the Russian sleep experiment is. But it definitely feels like some kind of like heinous propaganda story meant to scare people. Whew. Into an open gas pocket in Russia too. Are you thinking of the... I want to say it's not in Russia. Hold on. You're thinking of the... Is it a coal mine? I don't think it's a coal mine. Location. Deveza gas crater, the doorway to hell in Turkmenistan. That's the one I was thinking of. Darvaza gas crater. Yeah, in Turkmenistan. It always depends on which gate or portal to hell you mean. Because if you talk to like ghost adventurers and shits, they're going to tell you like 16 different locations. I wholeheartedly believe that the portal to hell is in Bobby Mackey's Music World. Please and thank you. In Kentucky. Even though most of their haunted ghost stories are entirely made up. Even if Bobby Mackey got demolished? Crazy. Honestly, probably good, because that building was like a fucking travesty, dude. It looked like 6 different buildings all just crammed together. Oh, sick. Good to know. That's just the Netherlands? It's just straight up the Netherlands. If you go to the border of Netherlands, it's actually like a wall of fire. It did, and the roof was sagging? Not surprised. Happened in Russia, but it all came out of that one weird nutritional deficiencies, hallucinations, odd behaviors, not strangely enough to even mention in this paragraph. Not even close to like the creepypasta Russian sleep experiments where they like turned into monsters. And it ends with like the creature falling asleep and then just being like so nearly free. And don't break your back. It's fine. I'm only a little sick, and I don't quite have the 3 in front of my age yet. That's not till July. The Ghost Adventures, that's the one I remember it from. The Ghost Adventures episode of Bobby Mackey's. And also like, what's the song? Joanna? Joanna, Joanna, are you still here? Yeah. Thanks, Bobby Mackey. Anyway, one castle where it's built inside out, so all the basements are pointed in, while where ancient Templars thought there was a portal to hell. Is that also... No. I was gonna say, that's not where they base the origin of... What's that new tabletop game? That new war game? Trench Crusade. That's not where they based the Trench Crusade origin off of, did they? Okay, yeah, it's not. Because I'm pretty sure the like origin of Trench Crusade is Templars turning to heresy and opening a portal to hell in like the like catacombs under, I think it's like Jerusalem. I think is where it was in like their lore. God, I want to play Trench Crusade. You know what? I want a TTRPG of Trench Crusade. I don't think I'm gonna be able to play a war game like ever. That's just too much money. That's just too much money. I also have a system now to avoid punching anything in my room. What? Why do you need a system for that? Czech Republic, Hauska Castle. Ooh. What? Where's the Goblin Castle? Scotland? Is it Scotland that has the Goblin Castle? Or is it Ireland? I don't remember. It's less war game, more small squad skirmish games. So much more affordable. Is it? I could have swore it was... Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong because I only know more about their lore. The lore. Anyway, the more you learn about the lore, the more you're like, oh yeah, humans are fucked, dude. Humans are fucked. It's also very funny because in the lore and just through like the way that humans are treated and everything, hell is overpowered 100% and will just probably eventually win no matter what. The only people who have beat hell are the Scottish. Not even joking. The Scottish have beat hell once and closed a hell portal, and they're the only ones to have ever done it. And then the only people that God likes, I'm not even joking on this, if you like read into what they were given, the only people that God likes, that Yahweh or Allah likes, are the Muslims. When the hell portal opened, God was like, all right, you're not getting into this area, and then raised a iron wall out of the ground that surrounded like multiple countries in the Middle East. No, not like the one in Avatar. Yeah, they gave him like a giant fucking wall, and then they started doing alchemy. That's Aya? I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that's like Awa or Aya or something from Avatar. Okay, how many people have seen the newest Avatar? How many of you can tell me that it is not just the most racist man alive and his Filipino wife? Convince me it's not that. You want a rabbit hole to go down seems like a political creepypasta, the DARE program? I know the DARE program. It was an MLM for cops, but it's real? Correct. Also, not to mention, it was basically a money laundering scheme for tons of celebrities. The Avatar James Cameron, blue aliens of new crazy blue lady. I still think she's gray. I still think she's gray because don't the fire tribe, doesn't the fire tribe like rub volcanic ash on themselves? Although I don't watch those. Honestly, good. It's basically the white savior trope, except the white savior becomes a blue alien. Are the graphics kind of cool? Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of pretty, but it's very uncanny and weird and very tropey. Was the founder of Herbalife? Correct. It was basically a way to launder money from the government to already wealthy people. That was basically all it was. Not to mention that statistically, it was found out that anybody who partook in the DARE program in school, I went through the DARE program in school, was actually more likely to try drugs than anybody who never went through the DARE program. Any Avatar movie after Cameron brought it back into theaters, totally not because its record got broken by another movie? Oh. I'm just a little more surprised that like Avatar 1 took 20 years to make. No, 10, 12 years to make. And then it took us another like 15 years to get Avatar 2. And then it only took like 2.5 years to get Avatar 3. I'm suspicious. Also, I need to get y'all a game. Do y'all want the fishing game? Or do y'all want to... Let's get y'all a different game. Let's get y'all a different game. And I'll go to my corner. Of course, it's going to be Stream Pairs. Because it is the superior game. All right, chat. Load, damn you. Aren't you loading? Okay, hold on. Let me see if it's a different link. Oh, nope, there it is. It's worked. It's worked. All right. Good song. Time to Hackers Man's. Oh no. I forgot he brought back Avatar into theaters. I forgot about that too, but I also don't remember what the movie. Actually, I do remember him bringing it back. I just don't remember what the movie was that beat it. What was it? What movie was it? Was it one of the Avengers movies? Most basic love excuse for having some sweet sci-fi scenery porn with at least a pretension of hardness? Yes, correct. It's basically capitalism bad. Hyper Earth capitalists never give up. Oh, and also there's a racist colonel who, even when he basically gets forcibly turned into an alien just to survive, is still racist. All right, chat. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. I'll be back in just a minute. The United States drug problems are perpetuated by its own governments. Don't you forget it, Midas. Okie dokie. What'd I miss? What'd we do? Good song. Good song, baby. All right. What'd I miss? What did y'all yell about? Did Ordain start burning my camp down? Or was that Ganon? I missed it. Who said... Oh, it was Ganon. Okay, I was like... I saw it as I got up and I was like, wait, who said they were going to burn the big top down? Again? Again. I didn't do... I just had to make sure. I just had to make sure. Chat, you better not fail this one. You better not fail. Come on, lock in, kids. Lock in. Toucan is 6. Flamingo is 3. God damn it. Where's the other toucan? No! Oh, wait, what the fuck? Look at you. Holy shit. Saved it. Saved it by a fucking hair. Arcelin, shame on me. Oh my goodness. All right. All right. Chat. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready for trauma? It's time. Oh, the hell? Unmute the game. Bring volume up a little bit for myself. All right. Also, hold on. I want to show chat what I've been doing since Monday. Chat. I may have, like, done, like, a lot. Also, this is not the skin I like for Protea. I wanted to make this olive, but I don't have the right color. So unfortunately, the one that I always have to go to is like this one. My my Protea Prime that stands like Umbra. The Jimusi, I'll show you the Jimusi. I was born into it, molded by it. It's fine. It's fine. Where were we? All of these. I almost got Nova back to 30. I've been leveling Kome because she's weirdly fun. And enemies weirdly die really quickly to her 1. 1 or 4. If the 1 doesn't kill him, the 4 will. White one has bell bottom legs. White one. White one. Nova? It's not quite, I wouldn't call them bell bottom, well, kind of bell bottom legs, but they're more like fat boots. Has one of the best shields in my opinion. I'm building her to be like an actual ability user because apparently a lot of like Metacritics that actually try and play Kome are always like, just build her a gun platform, dude, and like replace her 4. It's not good. I'm like, fuck no. We're stacking ability strength and like every single Archon. Yeah, we have Citrine. I have the Jade. Finally got her to 30. Gyre, I'm still not like, I want to play her more, but she just doesn't quite deal as much damage or is as fluid as I want her to be yet. And then of course Citrine. That I finally finished building yesterday. Now this was the first color I made. This was the second. I couldn't get the emerald on the inside to be more vivid. What do I look like? What do I look like a healer frame? What? And then this one. This is the one that y'all like the most for Citrine. I haven't gotten around to playing her yet because basically what I want to turn her into is heavily reliant on, goodness, her 2 augments. So I kind of need to get her 2 augments first. Like, I don't think... Oh, I have. I actually put stuff in here. Huh. Oh, I think it was because I was going to play her, and then I was like, She does seem like a lot of fun, but we're going to bring what is basically my level breaker, because I'm not very good at making builds, so I don't deal a whole lot of damage.
Armaments, operator. Please
Hold on a second.
Covered in blood.
I don't deal a whole lot of damage at base, but Zaku's ability to just steal people's guns and deal the damage based on the level of the creature you stole the gun from is ridiculously strong. Plus, I like my Zaku. Look at her. They're fantastic. I love them. They're so sexy. 3 Warframes slammed into 1. That makes this super cool, just gold, almost like broken porcelain look.
What's your pleasure? What's your fear?
Hi, Kilda. How are you doing? Covered in blood. It's fine. I need to unlock Helmeth in my account. Oh god, it took me forever to unlock it. It took me even longer to unlock the Archon shards. And then now I need to do the fucking... It's not inclusions. It's something else. Here. Real quick. It's here. It's the Kavia. The Kavia are my least favorite faction to grind experience for. I am not going to lie. I can grind experience for the Hex in a day, like the whole day of experience in like 30 minutes. But the fucking Kavia are so tedious and their game modes are so fucking... Oh, here it is, bird.
So, you collect these? Take that one. Oh, no,
The coalescence
that one.
segment.
Or...
It costs 30,000.
I'm helping.
Sure you are, bud. Sure you are. And I only have 44,000. And I can, my max experience, oh, y'all can't see it. I'm standing in front. 22,000 out of 44,000. And my max amount that I can get for daily rep farm is 22,000. Game modes that are so fucking bird, huh? Bird. Bird. Burb. Anyway.
Have fun!
But yeah, these guys annoyingly have a lot of good stuff that I will have to farm over time. And of course, there's Fibonacci.
Do I have your complete Tinu? You.
Oh, I do have everything I need for this. Cool. Then I could just farm.
As you were.
All right. I'm starting to think Fibonacci has dementia. Yes, that's exactly who it is. That's exactly who it is. You are correct, Pinky. Bird? I heard it's the word. All right. Hold on a second. All right, chat. Oh. Twitch chat was loading for some reason. That was weird. Oh, also, heads up. While I was out earlier and I was like coming back, the electrical company was out just like a mile or two down the road, and they were replacing all of the power cables. Not the cables, the poles. They were taking out the entire pole and like replacing all of them. So if I ever lose power randomly, that's probably the reason. And find Duvier's who I never realized? Yeah. All right, chats. Are we ready? Are we ready for a generational crash out? All right, I genuinely have no idea how long this one is. Oh, hide and seek. You know, I kind of half expected to cut. Well then, apparently we're going back to the sanctum we were just at. I haven't started that yet. Totally understandable, Pinky. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the lurk. Please lurk. Please lurk. I'm begging you. More frame for more fun, more unique frames. I've kind of gotten every single one I want, except for Gara Prime that I'm working on building. And Dagoth that I need to farm. But I need to get a grouped... Oh my god, wait, those are all frames in the dirt. Wait, those are all Prime frames. That was Mag Prime, that was Volt Prime. I think that was Trunma. Flower. Flower. Is it metal? I can't tell. Oh, and it spins. Oh my god. Oh yeah, it's because Abyssal Zone, I'm pretty sure you have to make a group on. What the fuck is that? Huh? What in the world of War of the Worlds is this shit? It looks like a sentient, kind of. Oh, hey! Oh god, it's Excalibur Prime, isn't it? That's a Grenier. Nobody ever keeps Excalibur Prime down. Okay. Woo. Uh-oh. Was it? Woo! 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 Wait, I can't tell when he's looking at me. What the fuck? Oh, there's a drone behind me. You don't say shit! Oh, god damn it. I got hit by something. Oh, wait, okay, I shouldn't jump out of the trench. I got it. I shouldn't jump out of the trench. Oh, wait, all the way back? That's fine. on! I'm dead. Well, the thing is, I can't tell when I'm standing in the blue light because it's not like there's a hard rim. So yeah, he always looks over here when I get to this point. Oh, what the fuck? And then sometimes it just feels like it fades in when I walk. Hello? Oh, come on! Nope, I'm dead. Oh! Okay, that was weird. I can't see the rim. I'm trying to see them on the mini map. And I guess he triggered? I don't know. But then see, he moves forward when I get here. See, it's like, I can't quite tell where he's looking. He's gone, and then, can I? Oh, you're fucking joking. That was stupid. Oh, come on! Oh, you're right above me. Can I shoot him? How the fuck did I live? Oh, I can! What are you doing? Get over here. Okay. Oh, this is a big guy that's marked on. Okay. And I gotta get all the way over there? Well, he's... How are you zapping me? What's your goal? I guess to get over there. Okay, apparently I made it. Apparently. Sick. Sick. Okay, void speak. Void speak. Nailed it. Oh. Please tell me I don't have to fight that. Okay, a little dramatic. A little, Okay, I won't tell you. Fuck you. Unholus? Oh, what the hell? Oh, interesting. Oh, what the fuck? back to the ground. That's doing next to nothing. I still don't quite understand what those anchors are supposed to want me to do. That doesn't seem good. It launches me at his face, but... Huh, I can't hit that. Okay. Oh! That was weird. Somewhere else. Oh, it's kind of stuck on his leg. Oh, hello. Hi, Beep. That's not good. What are you doing? Okay, that works. That works even better. So he does take headshot damage. Woo! Okay, but let's look at all the eyes. Same button to support, you dork. Okay. No, illegal. Hello? What the fuck? That's a child!
Mohuda Tenno. I win. You let.
Let's call it even.
That was practice? Crazy. I figured there was gonna be a QTE too, but there wasn't. Okay, it's a little gang. Oh? Okay, it's the operator. Is this where the operator was? Wow. While the drifter is...
See?
Well, the drifter's in 1999?
But not enough.
Not enough.
This is the only way we find out.
Flooding their head with polluted histories. I won't.
So these are histories that didn't happen?
Come, Tenno.
Non-Euclidean child? Yes, correct.
Let's get you dry.
Thank
It's
you,
okay,
Uncle Lloyd.
I have to. I want to.
Some things are best forgotten.
I had a friend, Lloyd. Like me. His name was Adis.
God God, I love the design of my operator. I'm not gonna lie. I look sick as shit. Hi, Runya. How are you doing? But also, it's the Lotus hooking into us, right? What are we doing? What's the operation here? You can't keep plugging me into things and saying they do stuff. Is Vitrat core? Oh. Are we by ourselves? We're just out here? Adis, yeah, Adis. Good morning.
How late the we?
Relax. We've got this.
Ball ass. Ball ass.
We swore to carry the sacred light of our dominion into the
Why are you so
deepest
different,
dark.
though?
And this we have done. Swear now to defend this holy treaty alongside our blessed and brave creations, the sentience of Tau.
Tau Boon
Can you
Paradise.
believe we used to be at war?
No joke, Tenno.
It's just insane. When all the time, it could have been like this.
Wait. Damn you, Ballas! Curse you, Ballas! You depraved blue bastard! Yeah, so is this after this has to be, we're already Tenno, which means this has to be after the Zeraman's wrong jump? But I'm trying to look at these sentients. Why are they so morphed bird-like? Like the ones that we know, but why is he so personable? Also, these flowers. What are these flowers? I have questions!
What your parents say if they hear.
Oh,
Yeah, when
invite you to
they made
dinner,
the sentients,
then
they sent
panic
the
over what to
sentients.
feed you.
The sentients turned against them and started a war back in the origin system. Your parents?
Did they ever tell you what happened to your ancestors?
Waking up the Great Rail was the telling. First you serve as labor, then you serve as parts.
What?
I've been working on some new moves.
What is the Great
Gonna
Rail?
let me
And
try
are
them
these
out on
two
you?
suns?
First we find new fighting place. We get caught.
One
then
looks
we
like a
think
sun,
old
but
times come again.
the other one's sucking the energy out of it, which makes me think that like it's a machine or something. Knowing this game's shenanigans.
Anything you want to go over before it Sam grills you?
Adis, maybe forgotten there I'm on Principle Section 8.
Again? Okay, don't sweat it. I've got your back.
Oh, we're so nice. God, fuck. This game is free, by the way, chats. It's free. I'm sorry. It's just when a story has me asking so many questions
Have him report
and
to
so
me.
curious. Wait, that was
What's your pleasure?
that was
What's your
Merculus.
fear?
Fuck. We missed it. Face is a face. My face is a face? Face is a face is a face? So these are the Grenier before the genetic degradation. Your armor's still ugly as fuck. Who the fuck are you? Also, why do all the organs have one big arm? Is that ever covered? Is it the 7? Okay, hold on. Because that's Bolus. Ballus. Why do I see Bolus? Nicol Bolus. Ballus. Who is this? And who is she? They've been jorking they shit. Is she jorking her shit? Because she has the arm too. No idea who this is. Okay, so there's only 4 here. So I'm guessing there's others in the other wing. It's their strong hands? Because they're weird immortals? Seriously? It's surgically done? I guess, does this guy have a big hand? I don't think this guy had a big hand. This man's following the old Roman... No, he does. He has the big arm. But like, he's following the old Roman tradition of what happens when you become really rich. You decide to get really fat as a fashion statement. Anyway. Hold on, I got a sniffle. All right. Too much for that? Yeah, I was gonna say, they do Caliban. Uh-oh. Caliban Prime?
Isn't it? Oracle gold wasted.
What the fuck are you?
I wonder, which of you would this aberration attack first?
Stupid.
Watch your mouth, void lugger.
You can't say that!
Please.
What the fuck? Hold on! What? Did we just... Did we just get dropped a fucking slur on a child? Dropped in-game data files obtained by scanning ARGs and word of gods from the DE team? Void lugger, apparently.
The place for conflict is in the dojo.
But why is it just pinned here? Is it, are they making it here or is it imprisoned here? Is this the teacher? Oh, he's kind of cute. He's got a little face, little bird face. Archimedean Itzum. Okay. Ma'am, why are you hunched over like that? Why did we go through that room? Other than to be introduced to the race of Cephalon. You trudge like that. Oh. Okay. Drop the hard R too. Oh, he has glasses. That's cute.
To the Tenno ways. When the applications of Tauron are applied to Naramon's theories, what is the expected outcome?
Am I supposed to know this? Am I supposed to know this? No? Okay.
A new somatic connection.
A somatic connection new? Power increase many?
No cheating. If you are tested by the Seven, we must show your evolution to their ways.
So is he like a new generation of sentience that just...
The treaty is not as finished as we would wish. The conditions laid upon our stewardship.
Hello.
Is underway. Tauron students to deployment.
Let's
Apex
go,
Stinter?
Edis did not
She looks kind of
choose
cool.
me.
I like her. They just line up. Aren't y'all supposed to be going to fight these anarchs? Question mark. Why are they deploying the students first and not the Grenier?
Well,
Oh, hi,
praise
Excalibur.
the void. You two managed to show up on time. Borrow Overlook. Go. Now.
I don't... What do I do? Oh, this is the map. I got you. I got you. Okay. the fuck? Wait, is the school on a, like, a meteor?
Can you give us a miracle?
Oh, we're just straight hot dropping onto the moon. And it just drops. That's hilarious. Damn, hi guys.
That's the spirit, kiddo.
Oh, I died. What? I just looked at my health and I looked away and then I was dead. Oh, hi. How'd you get here? Oh, I have a treadmill now. You're a big bitch. Jesus, so are you. Ow, ow, pain. Gruesome, but also cool. Am I destroying this?
That's the spirit, kiddo.
Hi, Binborn. Yeah, I was gonna say. Also, that's the indifference. Again. Oh, it's our guys. Bronco Primes! Ew. Oh, they're scatter shot. Okay. It's this casualties.
For the Orochi. Tenant, savior.
Yep. Oh no! One of our little boys. Just little dudes. He's so small.
Cast and cry, raise arms high, watching abandoned night, for that for sure forlorn.
Oh. Zin Oscar. Retreat only for artillery strikes, of course.
I see them.
Do I?
That was the old Macross cannon. Can you take it out?
Trust the we.
The trust the we. I like the funny use of where Ada's implements, like, instead of using us, they always say we, but they always put it at the end of a sentence. I mean, I don't think they even technically have lungs. Hello.
Go charge up, Adis. I've got your back.
You are authentic friend, Tenno.
Aww.
Xenoflora. Flowers.
Oh.
The only real alien life we've ever found, and the Synths scarfed them down like Kubro Chow. Just as well for us they did, eh, Tenno? Suddenly, they've all got minds of their own. So no more hive mind. So no more.
Ready?
So the flowers released them from the hive minds? Okay. Keel? Listen. Also, these are really cool.
We're getting pounded.
Tantivy, ha! What say you all? Shall we enlighten this Tenno?
That was the... Oh, hi, guys. Wait. Never mind, that wasn't. Is that a jester? Okay, I thought it was the indifference for a second. But they were far more active than they usually are. God, this gun does work. assume with the shotgun. Not gonna lie. Trumna.
The shield's ate us. I got it.
What are we doing? No, stay down. Guys, I hate to tell you, I don't think it's a good idea. Oh, hi, guys. No shield for you. Honestly, I probably... Oh. Ooh! Catch!
Good work! This treaty's going to live, Galastra, and you don't get to tear it up. Dropships inbound!
Felder, my old pet. Better count your flock again, dog, and keep your ships on the ground. Else I'll be set to carving your lost lamb.
I'm pretty your Lancer. Wait, weren't the Eximus a project in... What are we doing? Easy. Damn, they really gave us some serious fucking armaments for this one. Okay. You got the staff? Yeah, it's based on the focus you have. I didn't change it, so I just kept the one that I already knew was going to be a bow. Otherwise, I probably would have swapped to the sword.
Go precepting.
That's a very useless self-defense method.
Tenno schools, peace cannot abide the machines.
You're the only ones keeping this war alive.
Egg.
Let me show you why.
Is it racism? It feels like it's gonna be racism. Or... What the fuck?
But the blooms make us more than machine.
Why did my colors change? Why did my colors just suddenly change? There's the cast and cry music again.
A place to breathe.
That didn't sound good. What the fuck is that?
Let him go!
Of course. When he's good and ready, child. Sentient TQ-776BL. Repel intruders.
Christ.
So desperate for orders without your xenoflora.
Okay. So you imprisoned him until he was basically starving? Is that what I'm hearing? Tactilist.
Adis will heal!
Also, slash only shotgun is kind of interesting. A little faster! Does this really count as a shotgun? Where are you going? Okay. You're watching some VR? Ooh, sick. Oh, I got you. Okay. It's always looked like a shotgun. For some reason, I thought it was categorized as a shotgun. Does it always have infinite ammo like this? Or is this just for the story? Oh, this one also has hands. The little hollowy hands. Yeah, Cito's the shotgun. I'm pretty sure I knew Cito was a shotgun. We don't breathe! What could he possibly be doing? That's not us, is it? That's not us, is it? Did he run to go get some Xenoflora? Uh-oh. Shit. Oh.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to. It was him or me. Him or me.
Oh, man. I was gonna say, you didn't even bring anything. Why did you not go back up to this? You can fly. Why did you not go back up to the surface, grab some Xenoflora, and bring it back down? Oh, it's one of the vessels.
It knows.
Tenno, the truth of Tau must not be taken from us again. I need you to go back under, however briefly. If the danger becomes too great, in your mind or in this place, you will sense it.
Okay, so we're still reliving memories. This isn't time travel. This is just reliving memories currently. What the fuck? Hello? Oh, hi.
And so you returned without Adis. Most unfortunate. Your patron has asked me to inquire about the voices.
Looks like I'm reinstalling this game. Welcome back.
Under control.
Let us hope so. Now,
You can't run.
What would you say is Galastra's goal?
Okay, Galasta was the Anarch lady. Definitely restarting the war.
Using the sentients as her tools.
A sound hypothesis. We know she can undo the liberating effect of the bloom.
Which basically just seems
Your
starvation.
somatic readout indicates emotional stress. I am not judging you for what happened, Tenno, but we must find Adis.
I know where he'll be.
I mean, this seems like a very sympathetic teacher. Like, pretty great. Not gonna lie. I think he's pretty great. One always becomes Tenno, and once a Tenno, always a Tenno.
I know you're loyal, and you want this to work, but you know it as well as I do. There is something deeply amiss with the sentients. If they're so proud of who they are,
Why are you
then
pacing like that?
why do they want to be humans so badly? And every time they try, it's just off, isn't it? Just know you have a friend in me if you ever need to talk.
How about no? How about no? Wait, are there any other statues here? That's ball ass again. Okay, no. Okay, I guess we're... No, we're going to a different wing. Ball ass. Oh, there he is. So he was here. He just wasn't with us. Oh, cast and cry piano.
Adis. You lost something.
Many things.
Yeah. Me too.
I know.
I wonder what all those cards are that are kind of flipping around behind him.
Let's not lose the we. Also,
Oh.
Never. So,
I'm loving it, Jericho.
do you want to go hunting?
This is such a good game.
With me?
always.
Oh. I'm kind of curious if the next mission that we get, we're going to find out if... we're probably going to find out in this mission. I hope Adis doesn't die. Because otherwise we're going to get to meet Adis again in the future. And I'm kind of scared for that a little bit. Goodness. Sorry about the sniffles.
Hold up, Tenno.
Airlock.
We just intercepted an Anarch transmission. Listen to this.
Also, why am I seemingly the only Tenno here?
The prey has gone to ground, my hunters.
There's supposed to be more of us, isn't there?
Adis, get on comms. We need intel. I'm going after them.
Huh? He's not gonna respond? Okay. Airlock. Excuse me. What the hell are you? Teleporter? Alright. Let's see if we can make it through this mission. Probably not before the ad break is, but if we're still on the mission, will you snooze the ads for me when we get to like 1 minute left? Sunsar. Yeah, we're probably not gonna get through this mission in 5 minutes. Wait.
Tenno, go after ones
Where
with
did-
big shiny hat.
Can you narrow it down?
Where did I get this gun?
Muscatus? They lead. They know orders from Galaster.
Why don't I have the Trumna
Make
this
them
time?
tell.
Or isn't there at least 5 to know out there? I'm pretty sure there's a bunch, especially considering like a lot of the defense missions are waking up other Tenno. Yeah, this is... Oh no. Oh no. Hello?
Lovely berries, waste of good soil. Vineyards for me.
Turno scorched the earth. None of us get nothing.
This again, Brass.
Hold on, we're snooping.
Done with drones and gas, right? Tenno don't exist.
Bitch. We feeling confident about that idea now? Sorry, guys. little bad. All right. Oh. What's up, buddy?
What's Galastra hunting?
A shuttle. She had it shot down. The Macthos.
Wait, how did we...
Dax cannot defy Kuva, but Anarchs defy Orican? How?
Orican houses clash all the time. Dax can kill troops, they just can't hurt the Golden Lords themselves.
Maybe through Hivekin, they try to find a way?
Oh. Oh, okay, that was just the glow.
I'll make this quick.
That looked like a Grenier. I know you're back there. There you are. Quite effective.
Slice, burn, name.
Uh-oh.
We love it when you get to cut loose.
Shut up.
Ada's not talk.
Sorry, talking to myself.
The voices! The voices! Oh, where'd Joel come from? Fine. Oh, wait. Seems like they're just gonna keep coming. Hello. Why did all of y'all just keel over? More ping, more reloads, more ping, which makes the cycle tighter. Dopamine, baby. Anyway.
How is Galastra controlling
Y'all look
sentience?
really cool.
The setup floor. Without them, they revert to...
You'll never get it from me! Why does this sound like a nerd from a 90s sitcom?
With the blooms, Tau made us free. All know this.
But what happens if you don't get them?
Hunger. For orders. If none come, Hive Mind would return.
But what is the hive mind like? Is it, what's the word? Is it just like in waiting?
Gonna scramble this targeting array, Adis. That ought to bring a Lestratus out of hiding.
That doesn't sound good. Did I run out of luck? Authorization codes to continue. Are you up here? Oh, you are up here.
Okay.
Okay, so they were marking the ass liquor. Rude. Rude. Gimme. Ow. Ow. Reaching faster shields. Listen, I don't know what you are, but you're kind of cool. Not gonna lie. Noises? Oh. Oh, hey, buddy. What are we doing up here? Whoop. Overshot. Yoink. You know what love in the future? Oh, I know that. There were also the ones in the past. But is it like a separate system, or does the hive mind go back to the control of the Oricans?
Redeploy, Adis.
Okay. So, is Adis what? Our current... Like, just... What? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The reload sounds lovely. Gee, I wonder what it's based off of. I wonder whose iconic gun it is.
Galastra shot down a shuttle. She's gotta be after the passengers.
Okay, ad break starts in 2 minutes. Okay, we're gonna pause it here really quick. And then we will run the ad break, because I think you snoozed it. So we're gonna run it now. I will give you all the game. And I'm gonna go check on Coco. I need to go check on the puppo. Y'all better not fail this one. You better lock in. You better lock in. I believe in you. I gotta go check on the pup. Okie dokie. What I miss? Who burned? Who died? You got any? Is the ibuprofen? No. What is the meme? I don't. That's headache. I know it's ow. What was that meme? You got any ibuprofen? I got a headache. Good meme. That's a good meme. And an even better emote. Especially because it's a commies. All right, we got 30. Hey, y'all did it. Actually, dang, 2 stars. 2 stars is pretty good. Sunstars kept stealing mine. Then you just need to start picking more, what's the word? More unique targets. Yes, Ordained, why are you waving a sword around? I tried to go sip some Dayquil to see if it would help with the sniffles. We'll wait and see. It's fun. I mean, I guess that's fair. I suppose it is fun to wave a sword around. All right. Let me do a little thingamadoohickey over here. And we can put this away. Welcome back from the ad break, kids. How are you doing, kiddo? All right, no more Amaranth. back to traumatizing yourselves?
In the water. Get back down there, Tenno.
What the fuck are you yelling at me? I'm gonna kill every single one of your descendants, ma'am. Parental crater. Parental crater is probably what it was. Whee! Wait, how long did it take us to fly back up just to drop it right back down? Oh, I'm doing better? I'm doing far better than I was before. Oh, I can't steer myself. This is the loading screen. Ooh.
This was a VIP transport. Whoever Galastra's hunting, they're Orokin.
Uh-oh. Oh, hello. Oh my fucking god.
Aboard. Identify yourself.
Tauron student, First Class Division, M4-A. By the glory and wisdom of the Seven, I salute you.
That doesn't look like a
Point
salute.
blank emittings. Hidden Dax close. Careful, Tenno.
Those are cave.
Hostility.
Oh, we have the drama again.
Bitch. So many ways. Your service is acknowledged. Escort the Executor to the extraction point.
There's just a... Executor?
One of the Seven.
It's just a curtain. Stand back up. Itch. Stupid. There's so many of you weird little jumping dudes. Oh my god. Guys.
Tenno, decrypted transmission. Listen.
He'll come around, or he'll serve as an example.
Keep monitoring, Adis. We need to know more.
Jesus, they fucking put damage onto this thing. Nope.
Conveyance is under attack.
I'm trying, but I literally could not get ahead of these things. Because their AI is so focused on hitting the fucking... Stop it!
Exercise caution. Be patient.
Oh no.
Adis. Did your people do this?
A devil frame who did devil's work. He deserved this, Tenno.
Oh, okay. Let them jump up first. These guys landmines or these turrets?
Where are you going?
The fuck?
Tenno, more transmission.
Fill an executor's guts with everyone watching and not go to war on the spot? No. I know how the Orokin think. Once they see a sentient
so they're mines.
disembowel an executor,
And now they're not gonna stop for him. I have to get ahead of it.
That's her plan? She's insane.
The free axe will crush you underfoot. Attention, we have been assaulted.
Yeah.
Little Tenno, You are way out of your depth.
I mean, probably.
The big fish are going to devour you. Sentient PV-22, destroy the medical transport and kill the passenger.
Medical transport? Hi, buddy. Oh, we fought one of these. They're not all that intimidating. Wait, why the void speak? God, we're trying so hard to act up. Oh, God damn it. Wait. Why was there was our own disgust, but why was there a built-in fucking bass boost? Y'all heard that, right? I'm pretty sure that was definitely like the sound of like the void reacting or something, but y'all heard the fucking just the like we
remember this.
Teleporter pad? Oh yeah, we're pretty disgusted. Which
Ballas is dead.
I'm afraid the Murmur are coming.
Irrelevance?
In numbers. Only a few automated defenses left between us and them. I'm trying to contact the Kavia, but...
They have reverted.
Fuck.
Tenno, see reason. If the indifference encroaches upon the equipment here, it could trap your mind and leave your body an empty husk.
Seal the doors, Lloyd. I have to go deeper.
Deeper? Also, what are those cables plugged into? Our brain? A natural response to Ballas? Correct. I did, but putting it on the fan page? Shit, you can't beat me to it. I was gonna edit it tonight. Teacher, it's him. Also, why did I have a buff for a second? Shit, Lord.
With the 7 splits, Ballas held the casting vote. Pieces entirely in his hands, and the warmongers whisper in his ear day and night.
Oh, so the Anarchs knew that. They're gonna try to sway him.
Offend him.
But I saved his life.
Orokin gratitude is like summer lightning.
That's true.
Its light is fleeting merely, and wrath soon follows. Wait outside.
That's a good metaphor, Jesus.
Why is it Sam, first of the sentient Archimedeans, speak?
It's Galastra, Executor. Her anarchs now occupy every one of the known world seeders.
World seeders? Terraforming equipment?
Ashes. Tok'am itself is threatened. We believe she may be receiving assistance.
Emily Dahl, thank you for the follow-up command.
Is helping.
The Moon Parita is soon to be sovereign sentient territory per Article 92. All Orokin forces to withdraw. Remain and we violate the treaty. Depart and we abandon a friend in need. What then would you have me do about Galastra?
Is this the same voice actor?
To my fellow Archimedean, your consort. It appears the world seeders have
consort.
Close the door.
Oh boy. Oh, wait, is the World Eaters that giant egg we saw? Graduation day.
Shake a leg. Adis and Itzam are waiting for you at Takarm.
Okay. I guess. I suppose. Status unknown. Make tea for toss garbage out the window? Or toss garbage? What?
Remember, this place is holy to them. So mind your manners.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's not too hard. Hello. I made a crater in your garden.
You were born here?
Shit.
It's beautiful.
Amar! Amar!
Is that someone? Oh, it's the wolf! Oh, it's the wolf. Wait. This is the same Mar that became Ballas's Archon. Wow. Is it a sentient? I can't tell. Does he count as a sentient? Can I pet that dog? No, you can't pet that dog. Hello. Hey guys. Woo. Okay. Egg.
When I told Executive Ballas of the peril Tog-Am was facing, I little thought he would place me in charge of its defense. In this sacred place, the minds that had begun to grow on our long journey finally flowered. Tenno,
Also, how are they
Adis,
transported here?
In the spirit of Tog-Amen, I bind your souls together. Be the example we look to, the living truth of peace. The two of you have already been tested deeply beyond any grade.
The dog's
or
name is
metric.
Amar.
I have nothing left to teach. I deem you both Taran the debt. May your union never be sundered. A graduation present from the lady herself.
The lady? Oh, it's a sculpture.
Grenier, excellent.
That's... No.
Identified. They're not ours.
Why did we understand that one, but not the previous statement?
Valder, respond. Valder, come in, damn it. You've got a rogue battalion down here.
Negative, Tenno. Those traitors were grown off-site.
How?
A rogue executor and her lapdog. We need to get Itzam out of there now. I'm sending a shuttle. You clear a landing zone.
Okay. Lotus? Barely? I can't hear shit! I'm just running around with his little arms. It's kind of cute, I'm not gonna lie.
Shuttle inbound. It's taking some hits. Just make sure it sets down in one piece.
Okay. There you are. It's a tiny Tenno ship. Wait.
Wait! We should help.
No time!
Huh?
Thank you, Tenno. You too have been a singular headache at times. But I admit, I shall miss our classes. Perhaps you might consider returning next year to speak to the new...
Just can't keep them alive, can you, kiddo?
What the fuck?
Everyone who cares for you ends up dead.
I'm pissed. Already fucked. Oh.
Ready?
Is it a sculpture or is it something else? It's a message, isn't it? Oh, it's Margulis.
Galastra tried to steal the life of my love. For that alone, she deserves death.
Which is Paulus.
But the complete extinction of the Tau blooms, which she plans to bring about, would hurl us back into a state of war. With the collusion of Executor Natak and her lackey Roth, she has sequestered herself and her followers within the World Seeders. The armored Zeraman Ova of old. But they have a flaw. A destruct sequence.
Ova?
This Ayatan holds the trigger codes. Deliver it to the World Seeder's heart and turn Galastra's fortress into her funeral pyre.
Okay. Think the gifts was from Lotus? No. I heard the lady, and I was actually thinking of the statue of the Orokin that we saw. I was not thinking Margulis. Okay.
Hey, give him hell for me, kid.
Oh, now you're being nice. World Seeder. All right, guess we're going back to the giant egg.
Your people faced extinction. You found wisdom, and now you rise. Peace is trembling in our hands. Let us boldly grasp it.
Oh, froze! Skybox froze. There you go. Welcome back, Paper. Oh, hi, guys. Oh, hey, Adis.
Lord knows how, but they found us.
Oh, gee, I fucking wonder. Okay. How is this even remotely maneuverable? Oh? What? Interesting. Am I about to go into a massive boss fight? I'm taking tech. I'm taking tech. Sick.
You think you are the only ones to command the frames?
Early get Prime.
Control frames, but no Tenno? Galastra burned herself up for sure.
Why is she so big? I mean, I'm not complaining too much. Oh, hi, a penis.
flowers and songs. You only get peace through sacrifice.
The sacrifice has already been done. Oh, I just realized she armored back up. Oh, right, I can just shoot those. I'd better reload. That was the shield grenades.
I'm going to die on my estate, here on my moon, surrounded by weeping grandchildren and howling Kubros. Not now, and not by your hand.
I doubt that. Genuinely doubt that. Why are you not taking damage? Okay, now you're taking damage. God damn it! Fuck your blaze artillery. You get no shield! Also... You get no shield. Good day. Another one. You get to pick again? Oh. Oh, what does say doesn't matter. Oh, wait, no, these are shoulder to shoulder. Oh, it looks like it was a specific focus thing. Prosperity on top, the other hand, space racism, so fuck them. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna fight another commandeered warframe, aren't we? Also, how do they get that here if we're seemingly the only one? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, hello, darkness.
What is happening? It's me. I can't do this. I don't want to do this.
Huh?
Lloyd? What? No, you can't be here on Tau.
You're not on Tau. This is a memory. It happened. And I'm so sorry, but we can't change any of it.
Okay.
Almost at the part where it's okay. I'm here. My light is with you.
Oh, he's gonna die, isn't he? He's gonna die.
We're losing them.
Bring them back.
I can't. They've gone too deep.
I thought it is her cables. We're attached to her. Why doesn't she just pull us in?
Lamps. It's over.
Oh, hold. I am holding. I think this is supposed to happen. It's fine.
Not yet.
Oh, it is the murmur hand. Saku! Cleanup time, baby. Mimi.
Tenno, I must ask you to pace yourself. Nobody doubts your strength, But the Dark Refractory places a murderous burden on the user.
Dark Refractory?
If you persist in your current state, there is a real risk that we will lose you.
These fuckers better give me energy. They're fucking not.
I've not seen this kind of murmur activity since the day my Albrecht left us. It's like religious hysteria.
Religious hysteria? God damn it, it's not gonna give me any energy. Yeah, they're not gonna give me. Hey, how are you doing?
Deal with them and then rest.
Nah. Rest? Who don't get to rest, Lloyd? Yeah, these things don't drop any energy in this case. Hello? You made it all the way up here?
This will be your last trip. If the process is not completed this time, you will never come back up.
Yeah, Opie and Yowie. Imagine needing energy. I always need energy.
My child.
How's Warframe? Awesome. I only just realized that apparently only 2 of our fingers glow.
In the name of the Seven, the Lady Margulis and I welcome the delegates of the Sentient Collective. How brightly Parental's odd little star shines now.
Killer! Yoink! And then it's probably going to say the same stuff again. Yeah, shoulder to shoulder, got best we did. We'll do this one. Just full wholesale slaughter. Hey, listen, I tried my best, okay? I tried my best. Ooh! It is interesting that these things have just like a slot, very almost identical, and then it's defended, isn't it? Oh, Taliban! Hey, buddy.
Tell me, Tenno Brat.
Shut up.
Why do you still serve the Origin? Do you really trust them to keep their word?
No. But also, you want to start a war with peaceful entities.
It's not too late to see the light.
Damn, is he weak to this gun? Jesus. All red crits? Or we're about to have to fight multiple of them, aren't we? Wait, were you in the Caliban?
Good. Your final evolution.
No such
Kill
thing.
me.
Why would Adis ever want to be like you?
Yeah, let's go Adis.
We've got to get out.
Wait, what? Wasn't it supposed to be... Wait, what? Wasn't it supposed to self-destruct?
No.
The atmosphere is killing all of the flowers.
How many golden curse pods, Tenno? Enough for a whole world? For a whole system?
Changing the atmosphere killed all the Xenos, all the Xeno flowers. Flores? Xenoflores?
They used us. Set us up.
They didn't give us the self-destruct. They gave us the fucking...
Margulis dies for this.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm genuinely okay with that. Oh, Bellis. Wanna have a talk? Oh. Where did I get this bow? Was that just hanging out down here? God, the peaceful music when you sit down at these things. Blackstar. Voiced by V? I think one of the voices are. That looks so cool. I like their fit. Okay, I guess we're doing this again.
Attention! Following the many treacherous sentient attacks on loyal Grineer and Dax allies, the treaty is null and void. Orokin protection is hereby withdrawn. We are at war!
Adis, you've gotta stop! This is what they wanted!
Okay.
Attention! A rogue Tenno operative and sentient cohort are suspected of sabotage. They are to be brought in, alive or dead.
We're doing some serious fucking damage. Far more than we did earlier. Jesus.
This! Think, Adis, this is a setup.
Huh?
They're coming to kill us both! Don't you see? They'll cover it up. They always do.
Not what I wanted to do, not what I wanted to do. Can't tell what the health bar is. Is this his mouth? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's the things on the chest. Okay. Ow. Ow, stop it. Bad touch. God, you are hard to hit. Turn off the damage numbers? I mean, I will leave them on now so I get a scale of like how much damage I'm dealing. Once I reach a point where I start like deleting everything, always, then I'll turn the damage numbers off. Okay. No, that makes sense. Okay. Good lord.
Tenno, you were right. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Again, though, why does he
It's
have
okay.
this other giant body?
We're together.
I'm calling BS. I won that fight.
Tenno, I healed. I tried. Cast and cry, cast and cry. Raise the moon, piling on fire. All I can repent of
Straight ahead! Taking them out!
Okay! Bitchin'. Bitchin'. Okay, hold on. Edis is going to die? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Okay. You got the touch. Oh my goodness. And then where are these other orcs shooting from? You don't get to leave. Oh, you do get to leave. Ooh.
Edis? Come on. Sit up. Come on.
Let me feel sunlight. My light goes with you now.
Did you know?
Yes. I was meant to make sure. But I couldn't, Tenno.
Everybody was in on it. Everybody was in on it.
I meant to take him back to Tauron Academy.
I wouldn't do that.
Alright, is it crash out time? Oh, it's getting real close to crash out time. Operator can self-revive and is effectively immortal because of Aegis' light. That did have the infinity symbol next to it. Oh. I did not realize I could move. Okay. We're down the path of vengeance? Oh, it's gonna be a short-lived path of vengeance. Some words of advice? Which kind? Don't show up at school today? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, our little stompy Angie walk. Hey chat, you ready to find out why they call this the devil? Dax bodies. Okay, we're back to where Ball Ass took off after we delivered him here. Which again, why is there like a landing pad / teleporter or whatever? Old sheesh? Old sheesh. Uh-oh.
They're laughing at you up there, kiddo.
Hit it! Papa's coming to town. dude. Fucking goosebumps. Ballas. Oh, Ballas!
Ballas!
Come here! Oh my god. We don't even have his demons. Oh, we have one demon. No, we suddenly have one demon.
You changed the codes, didn't you?
Oh, my nose itches. Oh, Ballas.
Howard! Come out and face me!
You can't hide your shame. Several thousand years in the past. Let alone in the present.
I should have let Galastra tear you apart!
God, I'm just listening to the music too. Oh, why did it stop?
Tenno? Dear Void.
Look at you racist fuck.
I saw it all.
Tell me, Backlow, go ahead.
What did you see?
The Grenier were prepared. They knew. The moment Ballas announced the treaty was dead, they opened fire.
Fuck no,
Change
dude.
of heart from a bigot like you? I don't buy it.
Eat shit. Let's have a talk, Ballas.
Rap,
tap, tap!
You'll let me in, little piggy!
Oh, Ballas. Come on out. I just want to have a word. You two can eat shit, Margulis. Go ahead. Explain yourself.
You had nothing to do with it.
You already know the truth.
So where did those go?
Why am I sleepy?
This was the point.
You've had a very hard day, my angel. And we have a long journey back to Lua.
This was the long sleep.
Will keep the voices from taking hold.
You're going to make me forget, aren't you?
I will not have them accuse you of treason. If they come for you, they will have to go through me.
But Ballas...
Okay, but where are her eyes?
He did this. He'll kill you.
Is that the pager?
I'm so sorry.
You were used, just as she was.
Where the powers they didn't need to? Ah,
is in
gotcha.
sight. It will not be the place that you or I.
Well, yeah, because they probably turned on every single world seeder. I figured. I think I forgot about that. Because it's been like over a week since we've done a story mission. Being a sentient sympathizer then tied to a teenager that can get his dino nuggies.
Operator, anything about orders in there?
That's it? Sending a Predator Rebellion, use the Dark Refractory option with the navigation panel. What? The fuck is that? Huh? Do I go to the Descendia? I was gonna say, I figured there was a lot more to this. Sorry for the sniffles. The old yeast? Oh my god. Oh, hello.
Now that
wait,
you're
hold on.
here, Tenno, let's put you to work.
Lloyd?
My child, like you, I mourn for the peace that might have been. But we cannot make the past our prison. We look backward, only to learn where we are going. Adis Truthbloom possessed a power.
Like, I don't need to grind for Uriel. Somebody gave it to me weeks ago.
The power to heal our kind. If another like him exists,
What are these?
Lloyd has granted us.
Are these
full
currencies?
use
These
of
are
the Dark
currencies, aren't they?
Refractory. Use it. Your chaotic memories of Tau must be entered, tamed, and understood. Your memories of the Warframe Uriel have enabled Lloyd to reconstruct his blueprint. A difficult task, as the Orokin attempted to destroy all copies.
Yeah, that's
Use Uriel with caution, if you use him at all.
Wow, that Warframe really completely devastated all of our forces by itself. We can't let any of those continue to exist.
Greetings, child. Infuriating, is it not?
Emits out?
To one day wake up and find holes poked in what was formerly a perfectly retentive mind. I have no interest in commiseration of your war stories. You did what you did. Instead, I come to offer you
And if you are what you eat, Uriel's helmet is the heal.
You know of the dark.
Is the demon resurrection and the heal. So you don't get the demon resurrection, but you get a heal and you get an instant status cleanse.
Use it. Explore the deepest depths of your war-torn psyche.
Rebecca Ford?
Show me the limits of the device.
Oh, one of the devs.
Do so and you will earn my very own marks of valiance. But act with haste, operator. For my magnanimity sets my soul
to
itself.
what?
Come, visit me within La Catedral afterwards, and I shall show you what being in the good graces of an Orokin can buy you. Yours,
Can I have your Black Sclera, please?
Vice Regent Grand Carnus Rove.
I don't think it's even legally distinct. Isn't it literally the voice actor of Emmett Selch? Okay, then. I'll go to the portal. Whee! Ooh. Goodness. Ominous. XX99. Albrecht's Exile. Exile? Wait, am I getting like a look ahead? Okay, we're talking to him first.
The pair of you think I have
How you doing, you self-flagellant?
No soul.
That's it? Do I have to go talk to Roth first? Huh.
Marie, this burden should have been mine alone. I never meant you to be dragged down with me.
Dragged down, he says. I would have followed you willingly into hell, my brother.
Like literal brother or like siblings in faith kind of thing.
Bonjour, bonjour. I am Sister Marie Leroux, and soul be blessed. It is so wonderful to meet you in person.
She's
we have
painfully
been sent here
French.
by Cardinal Dimanche.
Okay, brother
You
in
know
Christ.
him
Gotcha.
as Entrati,
Gotcha.
to keep watch over that devil and ensure it does not cause more suffering. Oh, and it seems that what is ancient to you is not so old to me. How can I help?
That is the weirdest way to say that we're from the future. Oh.
Oh, allow me to explain. A sœur of soul and your strange weapons, oui? When Monsieur Lloyd
Oh, I never
spoke
realized
of
before that the
old
inside of her
war
habit
and
glows.
the souvenirs from within, it reminded me of the sagas of the luminaries, of the monks who would hone their souls to
I feel like I'm
blaze.
missing something. They've talked to
I
Lloyd.
know, and this I can teach. Come.
Huh. Why are these? Oh, okay, the schools. That's right. That's right. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, these are the weapons. Okay.
Oh?
What else do you sell? What the fuck is this? Hello? Tactilus. What? Uh-huh. Changes daily, I believe. I wouldn't doubt it. There's no timer here either. Invisibility for 30 seconds after activating Tauron Strike?
I would ask who that devil.
Oh, there it is. Was the bottom. I missed it. 2 hours, 49 minutes.
Very well.
Okay,
So
then.
We should invite Monsieur Lloyd and the caviar for solstice celebrations, Lyon. I think it would be quite wonderful, no?
You are right. I believe they might enjoy it.
Well, if you're asking my opinion, I would rather put a blade in my thigh.
No one was.
He actually won't talk to me. Is that a bug or is that supposed to happen? So, are we just finding out that like ancient Earth's faiths, instead of having like Catholicism and like Orthodoxy, it's Sol and Lua? Is that it? That seems. Damn, that is a good looking sight. Damn. In the Kim system? Good looking sight. All right, what are you doing over here, shitlord?
What's it like, knowing that we broke your deity open like an egg and gutted her for riches?
Would that your words alone could cause me pain, Roth. Though I understand why you seek to cause me strife.
Oh, is he talking about the moon? He's talking about Lua, isn't he?
Finally, someone who is not one of these two sanctimonious ingrates.
Them just taking the piss with him is so fucking funny.
Pleasure. Ah, and a word of advice. Take all they said with a grain of salt. If they are to be believed, their mouldering, obsolete gods are to thank for their miraculous arrival here, and not, in fact, me.
Herring! Is the romancing you've been doing with the Hex? Gotcha. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Devil of Tau?
It's story time you want, is it? How's this? My own men, my battalion, turned into devils.
So your battalion and yourself are the Uriel batch.
Infantry of endless soldiers by the same name. Uriel. I couldn't save a single man. Not that I wanted to at the time, of course. Victory at any cost and all that.
What were you fighting, the sentients?
But by
he was
calling
mentioned
myself the
in the
Devil of
flashbacks.
Tau, I doomed each soldier I trained to be turned into that thing. Uriel. I was there for his, hatching, I suppose? Uriel Prime. His true name will never be spoken by me. It's the only thing I have left that feels...
Oh?
'real'.
So it already exists.
When I'm on my deathbed, I'll tell you that final secret. Until then, know that us Orokin were cruel, twisted, and rather poor comedians.
Is that self-loathing I hear? Oh, this is where you get these cool euphoria. Okay. I was wondering where these were. Oh, wait, I kind of like that one. I think I like this one more. Oh, okay, it was a skin. I thought this was a separate hate weapon. I did not realize it was a skin. A golden honor. Oh, this is where this comes from. I was afraid this was like a premium thing or like the heirloom to something. It's only 15? Damn. Okay, and these were the things that Carrie already said that she bought.
In silk when you receive these.
Okay.
However, I believe you murdered the last Orokin who tried that. So we'll skip that part if it's all the same to you.
Interesting. It's kind of bucky on this model, but the fact that the face. And I still don't have hate. I either have hate or I had hate. I don't remember if I still have it. I don't remember if I still have it. But just wanted to see what else was in here. I like these. These and this headpiece. I've seen so many cool fashion frames that use this headpiece. It does not work on Zaku Prime very well. But it'll definitely work on others.
Understood the desire to wear remembrances of the worst moments in one's life. But very well, as you wish, soldier.
Okay, I can see why people like growth.
A waste of time.
I can see a lot of why people like growth. Okay, and then this is the pity thing. City Arcane Collection. Okay, so you can just get random ones if you have just a bunch of Ignia. Prime weapons. Oh, Galeriac. Various arcanes. Okay. Huh.
What a bore.
And then
during
Honoria.
the old war, we once more found
Big
a need
spender.
in the
Oh my God.
Orokin
Wait,
Empire to
Thorns?
distinguish between foot soldiers and those who could follow instructions to any manner of consistency.
Oh.
I wonder, which are you? Let us find out.
Oh, so these are Honoria of just a whole bunch of different currencies. That's interesting. Patriarch. Ooh. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I have enough in anything. I thought, there it is. There, the power of Haro compels thee. That's the one you were talking about. Christ. Okay. Wolf Mother, because those are the currencies you need to get. What's her name? Varuna. All right, I think that's everything I can look at. Yeah, we looked at that.
Insolent creature.
Surplus we looked at. Yeah, okay.
Disappointing. Dismissed.
And I guess we just can't talk to Harrow yet. And we have an ad break. Yeah, Varuna. All right, chat, we're gonna take a brief break. I need to run to the bathroom. Ad break's already started. So hold on, let me move some stuff around. There we go. Y'all better not fail on this one. If y'all fail now, I'm gonna start skinning Carrie. I'll see you in a minute. Wolf, why did you sell them? Crazy. Step inside, step inside. Okie dokie. Damn, y'all did a good job. Always on the run. Anyway, hold on. Why do I have so many notifications? Okay. All right, give me just a second, chat. All right, I think we're good. I think we're good. It's always the second I start streaming is when all the notifications come flooding in. Why? Why? Okay. Put this away. Oh, and the music. Boop. So turn it down a little bit. Okay. So what the hell are we gonna do? Is there... There's not. Not a computer in here. All right, we're going back to the ship. Because now I need to go see if they're on the Kim, if you will. Good night, pray. Sleep well. Thank you for hanging out. All right, it's time for dating sim. Oh. Palm 2 Lab 1. Forgive me for the impropriety of the imposition. I did not wish to contact you using this device, but this is verging on emergency. I do not know to whom else I can turn. Who is this? When you click a thing, does anybody else hear? Does it sound like a sigh to anyone else? Lloyd, I should have led with that. Matters here is the Sanctum Atomica has been deeply chaotic as late. Contacting you, I'm in need of your assistance. 3 protoframes have arrived here in the Sanctum in my time, and not ones previously known to us. One of them is an apologies. One of them is Orican Drifter. Oh, I guess I was Drifter when I went in there. Hero and Leon will not be there for about a week. Okay, I guess that makes sense. All right. What? What? Are you gonna date Rolf? Probably not. Not ask you to help with these matters if I felt I had anywhere else to turn. You are seemingly the new expert in matters of this kind. I do not know how best to describe them, but if you come to the Sanctum, I believe it'll be hard to miss them. 2 of them agreed to speak to you here on Palm 2. One may need some further convincing. I have faith you'll be successful. Okay. So they're not going to show up until the oh, wait, no, they're right here. Roll first.
Otis went mad for 3 milliseconds when he realized that each time he cleans something, he makes something else dirty. Ah, there I go again.
Thank you, Ortis. Voidborn Anomaly, the Drifter, the Usurper. Finally, we speak at last. Come, the devil has a proposal to make. Usurper? Again, that sounds like a sigh to me. Okay, is this good or bad? Is the red good? Is the red good? I've never seen red text. Is this the equivalent of the gold? This is the equivalent of the gold with the hex, right? Because I've never seen a negative one before, so I wasn't sure if this was like a negative one. Did you know you usurped the origin system from the Orkin and you, like a little impossible nest, have stolen into this world from your own? What? And that makes you, on at least 2 counts, a usurper by my measure, and perhaps the 3rd if we count what the butlers told me about Daviri. But that is a debate for another time. Why do you care about Daviri, dude? Now listen carefully. The 2 zealots have been so terribly painstakingly drab in their repeated objurgation of me. Expect you to rise above such remedial behavior? Objurgation? I don't think I've ever heard that word. What are they worshiping him? I'm confused. Or are they just bullying him? Is that what I was talking about, the bullying from earlier? I'll see what I can do. See, that's you, sure, buddy. Charmingly the bricious and vaporous new friends. When Albert drove the syringe to my neck and turned me into this thing, he did something else as well. Games between Orican are one thing. This is something else. You robbed me of much of my memories. I see that little version of you running about with all its traumatized Tenno friends. I see what the Lotus is helping it regain. The kid isn't an it. I'm not making a deal of any kind. And I would do the deed myself, believe me, but I could not. The blasted proto-frame serum Albert's poisoned me with removed any ability I had of operating the damnable contraption on my own. What contraption? And in addition, not only do I need your assistance in regaining my memories, but to add insult to injury, I seem unable to even find the means to discern their truth on my own. Okay. He is a royal as well as the Orican military commander. He talks in platitudes and extravagance. They are religious. He is brought to them and called a devil. Amazing. These are things you learn over time, just stuff you can see. Used to relive memories? Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. So you're saying you just need to talk to someone? Did not make this sound like I simply need to lay on some reclined couch and speak through my feelings? I mean, maybe. Not the commander, high up, not the two. I mean, he was mentioned in one of the flashbacks by name. In need of someone to help me record my memories and assist me in reconciling them. A temporary assistant of sorts. And in return, you'll have my solemn pledge that I will sit here peacefully. I will pose no one any threat, of which I assure you I am quite capable of being. I will do no harm to the zealots, or to the butler, or to Albrecht's void-corrupted animals. And more importantly, I will do no harm to Albrecht's twisted family that sits about like so much mutated flora above us, unwitting to our very presence. Wait, so that means they're in present time, right? It's just a portal somewhere else. Or... And one from the Triad, he could not date more than one from each. Damn it! I'm doing Eleanor and Marie. That's my plan. I'll do no harm to Albrecht's twisted family that sits about like so much mutated flora above us. Okay, I did read that. Please stop and listen to me for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna be mean to Rolf. This ought to be grand. Please go right ahead. The proverbial theater is yours. I'm the reason Balance is dead. Don't make me clear my schedule. I know you and I don't have much experience with each other. Not really, but I'm here for you. This one. This one for sure. If you could have heard me laugh, thank you, Drifter, for very much not being tedious. Hell yeah, that's a positive. I'll take it. Delight that was. I think you and I will be friends indeed. This is quite wonderful. I think for that I shall reward you and make my end of the deal just a little bit sweeter for you. Such audacity is rare. It's come to my attention that there are a great many matters around Deimos where my assistance could be considered not only viable, but I dare say crucial. Including but not limited to the reconciliation of one lovelorn butler and said estranged family who lives upstairs. A family who, as I mentioned, has no idea that we are even down here and has no knowledge of Albrecht's continued existence amongst the living. Am I correct? Convinced to talk. Claims to be too painful for them. Okay, we'll go with the first one. Hold on. Goodness, sorry, I had to sniffle. Not for free, but the void-addled usurper. My void-addled usurper. Okay. So we finally come to my proposal. Help me sort out the matter of my missing memories and get to the bottom of it all, no pun intended. And I will ensure our heartsick servants walk up those stairs. And in the meanwhile, I will sit peacefully and be no danger to anyone. What say you? Do we have a deal? Yeah, sure. Sure, dude.
Tenno, a new alert has begun. It will be marked on navigation.
Crossing a devil is worse than dealing with one. Both you'll come to regret, but only with one do you stand to benefit. Okay. I guess. Oh, it went offline. I thought it said it was still typing. All right, Marie, what do you have to say? Must be the Drifter. We? Very much about you. Very pleased to meet you on this. I was just there. It's fine. She doesn't actually know that. Came with my brother. Brother of my soul, Father Leon Allard. Leon Allard? Ayard. I don't care. May have warned you of the devil. Okay. But what are you all doing here? Oh, okay, that I want to know. I'm too curious. There's a forced ending you can get with Ralph if you do the Descendia 21 or more times. AI the way through. If you want a choice, be careful about farming it though. What? Okay. The one, however, being here is a very long story. Sent here by Le Cardinal. Who's that? Oh. Wait, what do you mean he's the Cardinal? What do you mean he's the Cardinal? The blue-skins. Monster irritant. Oh my god. Entrusted? Oh, okay, got you. Guide his soul, and then we must ensure at the very least that he does not cause any more harm. Okay. You can farm romance? Not necessarily farm, because it's like a daily thing. Like, see, she already went offline. But yeah, on the daily reset in 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, something like that. 2.5 hours to an hour and a half. These all reset and we can all talk to them again. Isn't talking yet. I think the way to earn his trust is through Marie. That makes sense. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't realize that it had these here. Hold on a second. Liked. Damn it. You know what we need to do? We need to buy gifts. We need to buy gifts. I haven't had money to buy them gifts, and we're gonna do that now. What does she like? What would she like? What's the best friend? Ah, gotcha. I know Letty wanted med kits, but Eleanor's a journalist? And she likes plants. Okay. Can you only give one gift a day? Oh my god, you could buy a scuticle. It's called a scuticle. Okay. Do I buy her a hanging planter then? You said she likes plants. That one of the scuticle? I figured. But I don't remember what she said. If she said she wanted anything recently. But we'll go with the planter. 1 to 2 business days. That's fine. Because then we can go talk to Letty, who I already know wants a medkit. 60, that's fine. That's fine. The heart means that you're good? Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna send something to Aoi. Oh, it's history. Also, this being our conversation, goodness, this being our conversation starter is so fucking funny. Hug. Hug. I love her, she's hilarious. But if I can only romance one, I'm going with Eleanor. Party lights. Probably something with music. Like Speaker system. You topped the leaderboard? Oh shit. Oh shit, you fucked up. You should have mentioned it. You should have stayed quiet. Right? She'd want something with music, right? Typically? The boombox. Like, I already know that she's... Also, why are there different speaker types? Dating every month and try again? Reset it! And... Oh, okay, got you. the one gifted sub for the month. Damn. Alright, we'll just go with the speaker. Damn it. Good enough. Topic leaderboards for giving very money. Base place to be. True, very base. Very, very base. Because the more money the stream has, the more stuff we get to do. But I don't think there's anything else I need to do. I have done nothing of the weekly yet, because that started last night. Actually, hold on. I already know I'm maxed there. What do we want to do? Do we want to take a break and go do something chill, or do we want to do something in-game? Hi, Tootsie, are you done packing? Don't you have packing to do? What do we play Gara? That I literally unlocked this morning. It's the Goonblin. I'm at work. And you're slacking off in here? How could you? Hold on, I want to see what skins Gara have. Only 3? Really? Okay, that one's kind of cool. I don't like this one. It's weirdly scrawny. With strangely flat thighs. Like, why are they shaped like that? Why are they shaped like that? Coco cosplaying. Well, I'd hate to tell you. I don't think they're gonna arrive on time. I got a couple days to pack. That sounds like a person who always ends up rushing to pack. Like the night of or the day of. Dang. They'll be here tomorrow? Will they? Will they? Also, what are these? Okay, I just wanted to check if I like got anything for those like assist sections. Ooh. All right. Real quick. It's on the 8th. I'll be fine. That's 3 days from now. Okay, what's the best? I could look up a build for it, or I can just do stupid shit like you. And then change stuff later. Ooh. Right? I think that's fine for now. And then we'll do... Where are you? Slash. Status check. That's actually not bad. I'll take that for now. More status chance, more fire. Do I want crit for... Ooh! 22. We got space. All right. Crit chance. We'll do this for now. I'll change some other stuff later, but this is good enough for now. Some Beretta so you get the cosmetics. I got time to do them. There's no rush. I'll do some later tonight. But, I mean... Hold on a second. Did I get any other weapons? Oh, it's ready. Okay, that's fine. I don't think Was I building any other weapons, or was I saving for any other weapons? I don't think so. Well, aside from you. And then a bunch of these other things I was going to build. Also, I finally get Mastery 13, so I have like... Oh wait, it's over here. The Bubonico. I just need to build a bunch of mutagens. Which kind of sucks. And I need to do more invasions to get more mutagens. A Goombingus Dragon Toy now? Dragon Toy? What does that mean? Here, have a free duck butt? Duck butt. But... We gotta get Halo to make a Goonblin art. There's already a lot of Goonblin art, including an animation of me holding a card that says, what is it? Goombingus. Why does that have a... Oh, it's just telling me it's full.
We must raise more capital to pursue.
I've been full on so many fucking things, and deciding to use Orokin reactors on these schmucks has been fucking painful. Because they kind of suck. Donkey nuts. Don't ask Halo why. Oh, Halo. Oh, Halo. Anyway. But hold on, that's the other thing is I made this Gara and then I'm brain dead. I forgot who it was. Was it Tech? I think Tech gave it to me. Tech almost immediately gave me Gara Prime. So I'm not gonna like spend any resources like Forma or anything on this Gara. I'll just level it to 30 and then subsume it. Not gonna lie, she's still pretty fucking cool. Wait, what? She said it thrice now? Which one? The Goombingus? Goombingus? Or Halo? Do I need to go mess with Halo? I'll go mess with Halo. Halo. Hey, Halo. Tootsie is being really bad in my chats. It deserves to be punished. P.S. Tootsie is most definitely a Goomblin. Hold on. Okay. Anyway, Halo has been messaged. Halo has been messaged. We get more Tootsie lore. Let's go. Do y'all want more Tootsie lore? All right, hold on. Hold your horses. Let me get the meme showcase. And then we will go to good old Halo art. Go all the way down to... Where is it? It's probably at Tootsie, isn't it? I probably marked it as Tootsie. I didn't. Where did I put it? Where the fuck is it? Hello? Oh, there it is. I found it. Make it bigger. Excellent. Excellent. Thank fuck. Too late. Too late. She's losing the beams. No, I just couldn't find it. I was just blind. I scrolled past it. Behind the scenes of message making with Baron. Listen, it's funny. It's here. It's already here. Is it under the Goomblin? Goomblin for president? No, not Goomblin for president. The world is against me. Oh my goodness. Me. How could you? I don't want that responsibility. There's no responsibility. Obviously, you just do whatever you want. Obviously. Is the meme in the... Was it not showing up? It's showing up on my end. It's basically just me picking on Tootsie. I mean, we could find some of the other ones. Here, where's the... I know which one we need. I know which one we need. Excellent. Excellent. What? Listen, hey, you're the one that put it up there. You're the one that put it up there. I didn't do nothing. Good night, Ordained. Sleep well. Oh my goodness. Hey, Moose here. Hey, wait. Hold on. I need the... Where is it? Where is it? I'm pretty sure I saved it under that. Ah, yes, there it is. Oh God, it's huge. Good fucking Lord. Okay. Ah, yes. Hui. Wasn't there a rainbow one? Do you want the rainbow one? I'll get you the rainbow one. Oh, hold on. I got you. I know what this needs. I know what this needs. Oh, where is it? All right, that's it. This is a nightmare. I can't wake up. Oh my goodness. Good Lord. I also like the fact that Tootsie's definitely wearing like high-heeled boots. In this that's kind of what it looks like. Good Lord, whose is that? Okay. You're too late. It's too late, babe. You're gonna have to extend it. You're gonna have to go edit it to make it bigger. It didn't get the whole thing. Oh my God, they're fashionable. Of course they're fashionable. They're always fashionable. Let's see, what other Tootsie stuff do I have? I think that's it. I think that's all the Tootsie stuff by Halo. Science long fall boots. Listen, everybody needs their long boots. They're made for steppin'. They're made for steppin'. Let's see. There's also the really serious. Oh, those things would be huge too. There's also the like really serious Goonbingus card. Bump. Bump. Too many arts of Tootsie. I have the one that's me bullying you. Hey, goon. Goon. Chat, how do you be a proper goon in here? Oh no. Save. Excellent. Excellent. Go ahead, just put this away. Go ahead, scroll right on down here. Oh god, where did it save it? Where did it save it? God damn it. It saved it in downloads? No, it saved it over here. Okay. I lost it. I lost it. Da boy. Da boy. Any prime sets? I can't yell any louder than this. I'm sorry, Willow. I don't think I need any more prime sets. I think I have every single one that I want. I'm building Mesa Prime right now. I have the stuff for Gara. Yeah, I think the prime frames I want going forward are all gonna be like ones that are coming out in the future. IS files being scattered everywhere across the 7 seas of the drives. Correct. I really don't care about Wisp. I don't even have base Wisp, and I have had no interest in getting it. Just Anyway, Tootsie, how we feeling? Don't slap the goon card on my head too late. Too late. Gooner no jutsu? Oh, good lord. On Ember, you mean the regular Ember or the Ember Prime? Because I have... Where is she? I have Titania Prime. Get back down here, bitch. You're way too high. But yeah, I have Titania Prime. I have Zaku Prime. I have regular Ember. But I have not played her since I came back. Like, at all. Also, I just realized there's a favorites button up here, which means I can do some of this. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, that's it. Hell yeah! I have a theme to keep here. Weird and Halo were being mean to me. It's fun. I need more drives, but can't get any. Curse you, data centers and other things. True. Hi, Grims. Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, wait. Where's that other thing? There it is. I think I saved it on my phone, but I didn't save it on my PC. Oh, no, I did. I did. I just saved it under something else. All right, hold on. Oh, God damn it. It's huge. Okay. Slightly smaller. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. You in Horror Prime? No. Not really. It has a stir grabbing my shoulder. No, evil. You can't run. You can't run. It's fantastic. It's the new version of, let me see here, of, you know, this one. We upgraded. Upgrades, people. Upgrades. Hey, listen, Halo's art is fucking fantastic. I still have, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? This one. I have a lot of them saved. Do we need to go on a tour of the crazy good art that Halo's made before? How about the colored stuff? Huh? Merit in the wall. I mean, so cute. Her boobs. Where? Can I get that as the wallpaper? This one? You want this one as the wallpaper? Or you want this other one. I mean, there's also this one. No, that's big. Terrifying art, love it. I mean, Halo gets you a man that can do both. Gets you a man that can do both. All right. Let me see, is there anything else? Halo's also the one that made the boat. The boot. And then... oh, yes. The buff. How are you doing, chat? Are you ready to play games today? Chatter's gonna kidnap and clone Halo. I don't think you can clone whatever Halo is. Whatever art, deity, devil Halo is. Let's see, what else is there? Ah, yes. The flex. Hit him with the flex. There's also, of course, the long neck punishments. Halo bullies me so for having the chibi long neck toggle. Or the long neck PNG. Oh, right. Halo's also the one who made the art for the mouse pad that's available on Fourth Wall. Halo was awesome and just threw it at me one day. I was like, you can use this for merch. I was like, sold. It's crazy cool. I'm planning on getting one after the move. Because it'd be easier just to ship it out there than it would be to order it now and package it up somewhere. Step inside, step inside. Yeah, every single one of you should follow Halo. Even if Halo, I don't think you stream over here. You don't stream on Twitch, if I remember right. Cracks me. It's great. It gives this 3D perspective. I will get banned. That's what I figured, because you do some not safe for work stuff. But let me see. I have so many little Halo doodles. Like, here's me reading to chat. Reading SCP stories to chat. Yeah, I was about to say, it jumps around so much that you wouldn't be able to, like, warrant. Of course, there's also me crushing chat's nuts. Excellent. And there's a giveaway. If you want to win a desk pad, feel free to do exclamation mark. I believe it's enter. You shouldn't have to pay for any additional shipping unless your country, like the Netherlands, apparently has like additional import tax. But other than that, it should be covered completely by me. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Where did my chopstick just go? All right, so where's some of these? Oh. Can I show that one? I don't think I should show that one. Oh, yes, of course, the Armstrong. And then, of course, there's the other one. Poor Dane, he had to pay for his free one? Yeah. Yeah. Put it in the Discord? Put what in the Discord? This? Wait, was this on TikTok? Did I put this on TikTok? I don't remember if I did put it on TikTok. Maybe I did. Also, too big. I'm done making it invisible and resizing it. Pizza. Pizza.
bread over every egg.
Ibiza. All right. Have we done enough shenanigans? Is there any others I need to see? Can't show that one. Can't show that one. Not going to show the Sanic one. Oh, here, this one. The Showtime one. Boop. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Who won? Fair Shells. Congratulations. Go to that link and you should be able to sign into, I believe it's your Twitch account. And you can put in your information. I will not be able to see any of that information and such, so you don't need to worry about that, if that is a concern. And Fourth Wall will have it shipped to you in a matter of, it depends on how far away you are. If you're in the US, it could just be like a few days. It's very good. I love this piece. I like the eyes. Hold on. Where's the... It's a sketch, but it looks so cool. To dress as Coco? Oh no. Can I have Showtime art? You want me to post this one somewhere? Do you want me to put this one in Discord? A core part of mini designs? I mean, technically every design has eyes. Mostly. But the PC background, all right. I'll go put it in, well, I'll go drop it in the fan art channel. Real quick before I forget, because if I don't do it now, I quite literally will forget. Uh-oh. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Every is a strong word? Which part? I missed the part where I said every. Every is a strong word? I said almost every. Almost every. Fashion phrase before or not? If you want, you can post them in the gaming channel in the Discord. But some eyes are just boring, lame eyes. And whereas other eyes have detail and coolness to them. True. What is that? What is that emote? Is that... Does that say primed? Sure farted? What is the effect? I can't even read it. What the... What is the effect on there? Have a good time. Enjoy. I hope work isn't too stressful. But chat, it is already 4 o'clock. I think we're gonna call it here for today. I need to work on some clips for the week because I don't have any more right now and I kind of ran out of some from before. Like drawn eyes, shocking. Nice, Sessov. How are you doing? Nope, that's not it. That's not it. There we go. I need Endo. How much Endo do you want? Get yourself the mod drop chance and just start farming shit. Your college funds. Wait, we have college fund in this day and age? Who has college fund in the year of our Lord 2025? Who does this? All right, let me see who is live. I think we're gonna rate Zebby. Because Zebby is starting her, what's the word? Month of Moth. 12 hours of Moth. Month of Moth day 5. And she's only 6 hours into it. So you'll get a lot of Zebby. A lot of Zebby. Did I say 2025? 2026. 2026. But I need to do some editing tonight. I also need to work on some other things. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Probably, as long as my throat doesn't start hurting even more. Edit it. I'm working on it. We didn't get any edits out for I think Thursday or Saturday, which kind of sucks. But we broke 15,000 views on the the last YouTube short. Go straight to 2027. Now we got to live through it to make it better. But until then, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Let me do the raid message. So if you have a sub, feel free to use the crime brulee. If you don't, feel free to do the gold please, aka the quime please. The quime please. Please give quime. Pretty please. But I see you guys tomorrow. I believe we are yapping all day tomorrow. So we'll have shit to talk about. We'll probably watch some stuff here and there if I find anything of interest. There's no telling, but I will definitely be yapping my fucking jaw off. So until then, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. And thank you for enjoying the show. Good night. Sleep well. Or the heretic of Zada will find you.